Hi, my name is Abby Hutchison, and today we're going to discuss the question of whether or not a needle sinks or floats when placed in water. Before we begin, we're going to go over our materials. So first I have a bowl of water. It can be a cup if you need it to be. It needs to be about all the way full. I have a needle. My needle's small. The size really doesn't matter. And I have a spoon. I'm going to be using the spoon to put my needle in the water, but you don't have to. To me, it's just easier that way. Okay, before we begin, I want everyone to make their own predictions. Do you think that a needle can float in water, or do you think it'll sink immediately? So I'm going to try this experiment two different ways. First, I'm going to try placing the needle in the water horizontally and seeing if I can get it to float, and then I'm going to try to put the needle in vertically. So I'm going to go ahead and start by placing my needle horizontally. So that'll be this way. So I'm going to put it right here. I'm going to make sure this is dry. I'm going to put it right here on the edge of my spoon. And then I'm just going to gently put that in the water. Okay. So I'm going to show you. As you can see, the needle is floating at the top of the water. So when I did it horizontally, it did float. So now I'm going to take my needle out. And this part's important. I'm going to make sure that I dry off my spoon. And I'm also going to make sure that I dry off my needle. Just want to make sure that I do it the same exact way for vertically, except the only thing that's changed is that the direction of it is going to change. So I want to make sure that it was dry just like it was when we did it horizontally. So this time, instead of placing the needle like this horizontally, I'm going to be placing the needle up and down in the water. So I'm going to put it on there, and I'm just going to turn this so that it goes in the water vertically. And we're going to see if the needle will float that way. So just like I did when I put it in horizontally, I'm going to do it very slowly and gently. Okay. So I'm going to show you. Now we see that the needle is at the bottom of the bowl. So we know that when I tried to put the needle in vertically, it actually sunk. So we can come to the conclusion that the needle can only float when put in the water horizontally. So now we discuss, why is that? Why does the needle only float when we put it in horizontally? Well, I had to make sure that the needle was placed on the top layer horizontally because of something called surface tension. Surface tension forms sort of a skin on the top of a layer of water that when the needle is placed correctly, the surface tension can hold the weight of it. So by correctly, I mean horizontally. When I tried to place the needle vertically, the surface area in contact with the water is much smaller, which is why when I try to put my needle in vertically, it sinks. So me putting the needle in the water and it floating is actually an example of discrepant events. Discrepant events are unexpected occurrences that challenge students' preconceived notions and create curiosity. Using the discrepant event of a needle floating on water due to surface tension can be a great way to introduce the Georgia Standards of Excellence for Science. For example, for first grade students, you could align this activity with standard S1P1, which focuses on students obtaining, evaluating, and communicating information about the properties of light and sound, but also includes physical properties of objects and materials. Thank you for listening to my experiment today. Bye.